There are just 32 days until Election Day, but make no mistake, voters are already voting. Mail or early voting is now underway in about half of the states. More than 1 million ballots have already been submitted across 30 states. New this morning, CNN learning that next week, Barack Obama will launch a battleground blitz in support of Kamala Harris and down-ballot Democrats. Aides say the former president is concerned by just how close the polls have been, and he views this election as a, quote, all-hands-on-deck moment. In CNN's latest poll of polls, this is borne out. Harris and Trump effectively tied at 49% and 48% nationally. But this election, of course, it only matters in the swing states, really. Today, Donald Trump headed to Georgia and North Carolina. Harris is going to Michigan after campaigning in Wisconsin yesterday alongside a prominent Republican supporter.
I ask you to stand in truth, to reject the depraved cruelty of Donald Trump. I tell you, I have never voted for a Democrat, but this year I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris.
That, of course, former House Republican Conference Chair Liz Cheney, daughter of former Republican Vice President Dick Cheney, who has also announced he will vote for Harris. Donald Trump claiming those high-profile endorsements could actually hurt Harris.
Well, Liz Cheney lost for Congress. She was terrible. Liz Cheney is a stupid war hawk. All she wants to do is shoot missiles at people. I really think it hurts. I think, frankly, if Kamala, I think they hurt each other. I think they're so bad, both of them.
All right, our panel's here. Alex Thompson, CNN political analyst, national political reporter for Axios. Elliot Williams, CNN legal analyst, former federal prosecutor. Megan Hayes, former Biden White House director of message planning. And Matt Gorman, former senior advisor to Tim Scott's presidential campaign. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. Alex Thompson, let me start with you on the Cheney endorsement. This, of course, we expected this to be coming after some remarks she had made, off-the-cuff remarks, if their campaign is to be believed, or her staff is to be believed, at Duke University, but really coming out and doing this formally now in the birthplace of the Republican Party. How does it help or hurt Harris's efforts here?
Well, there are a few things. Obviously, Kamala Harris is trying to both pivot to the center, but also, and you can see this in the paid advertising too, that the Harris campaign has really shifted from a bio focus, especially those first few weeks. This is who I am. This is what my priorities are, to really a contrast anti-Trump campaign. They want this race to be a referendum on Trump. The ads have gone from biographical and positive to much more negative against Trump. Now, in terms of specifics of Liz Cheney, they're obviously hoping to tap into the Nikki Haley, in their minds, the hypothetical Nikki Haley suburban woman vote, and it's unclear, and it's still unclear if that will be successful. This is sort of an election of strange bedfellows. RFK Jr. Supporting Trump, Tulsi Gabbard supporting Trump, Dick and Liz Cheney supporting Kamala Harris, and both sides are hoping to bring in people that are not usually part of their coalition.
Yeah, I mean, stupid Warhawks. I think that was my college mascot. Go ahead. But no. Look, Liz Cheney can vote for whoever she wants. I guess I'm not going to pretend that Liz Cheney's endorsement is going to have an effect on this race, except make extremely online liberals feel good about a Republican for once. But then, I also think that the Kamala Harris team is smart in this regard. They know that Republicans attacking another Republican is going to be catnip for the mainstream media. So setting it in Ripon, where the Republican Party was founded, and doing something, it's less about, I think, actually the Liz Cheney thing, but trying to create a media moment that contrasts with Trump, I think, to Alex's point.
But I also think it gives Republicans a permission structure to vote for a Democrat, and it gives independent women an ability to say, like, oh, well, maybe she's not as liberal as they're painting her out to be, and this is an okay vote, and it makes it okay to vote for Kamala Harris in a world where maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. So I do think that it's helpful to have her there.
There's nobody that votes against Kamala Harris because Liz Cheney is supporting her.
Correct.
But there might be people who could support her on account of Liz Cheney's support. Now, look, it's probably one lady in Wisconsin. It's not a widespread, right? I mean,
one lady might decide
Gladys in Kenosha is probably going to decide this entire election. However, to your point, there's not going to be a major swing one way or another.
Yeah, I think they're all that equal. Like, right? If Nikki Haley came out and supported Kamala Harris, which she didn't, but like if she did, that would be a little different thing. If John McCain was still around and he was out there campaigning for Kamala Harris in Arizona, I would take folks' point here. But I think not all Republicans are built alike, right? So trotting out random former Trump staffers or Liz Cheney. I think also too, really, I think the power of endorsement also is when it's not as expected, right? Liz Cheney very clearly been a critic of Trump for many years now, whatever you think about it, and the issues that really propel her have, I think, in a large part been baked in, so it's less of a surprise.
But don't you think that some of these people all these voters are looking like, why aren't these people who used to work for Trump or used to support Trump, why are they now supporting Kamala Harris? Like, I think that it's building the case to your point of a contrast and building a contrast of why they're not for Trump.
Real quick, I think there is a difference between Liz Cheney and then the people that worked for Trump, right? And you can see that Kamala Harris's campaign does believe, at least in their internal polling and internal data, that the fact that many people that worked for Trump are now no longer supporting him and think of him as dangerous. Just this week, they put out an ad and they're spending actually real big money about people like John Kelly now longer supporting Trump.
Well, and Jake Tapper reported yesterday that Cassidy Hutchinson, Sarah Matthews, Alyssa Farrett-Griffin, who's the only one of them that hasn't explicitly endorsed Harris, although she has been a longtime Trump critic, they're going to go to Pennsylvania and hold events with women, aimed clearly at suburban women in Philadelphia. Does that make the difference?
I think it's aimed clearly at the media, right? It's a media moment. Gladys and Kenosha, no disrespect to Olivia Troy or Sarah Matthews. I don't think Gladys and Troy is looking at Sarah Matthews like, now I'm that Kamala voter.
But actually, you should think about who the target audience is, right? And the target audience is not Matt Gorman. It's not. I think they're not trying. I'm not saying you're supporting the former president. We haven't talked about that, right? But it's not Trump.
No, it's the mothers of the kids that I went to high school with who voted Republican for many years.
It's literally the mothers of those kids. This squishy swing vote in the United States that could be swayed by things like, oh wow, former Trump staff. Are appealing. Anyway.
And it has to be geared towards the media, because a lot of people who are taking their kids to school who you went to high school with and who are putting food on their tables are not able to go to events. So it has to be aimed at the media, and they're seeing that, and it's in all the battlegrounds. It's not just Pennsylvania and Wisconsin.
There's a difference between going for the media and their attention and actually penetrating with a message to the voters through the media.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't think they're exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, I think my big picture question here is, do these reminders of what happened on January 6th, the combination of the report, these people coming out at this moment here with 32 days to go, does that actually make a difference or not? I think there's some evidence on both sides, but we're not going to figure it out. All right, joining us now is Bloomberg political editor Laura Davison. Laura, good morning. Wonderful to have you back. Let's talk a little bit about where things stand today. We can start with Liz Cheney here. We knew she had vowed she was going to do whatever she could to make sure that Donald Trump never gets near the Oval Office again. That's kind of her framing on it. They obviously tried to underscore the symbolism by where they held this event, going to the birthplace of the Republican Party in Wisconsin. The bottom line question, how much does it move the needle?
That's the real question here. And, Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, her father, has also come out and endorsed Harris. She has been a Trump critic for a long time. She sat on the January 6th commission. She has been very outspoken about his threat to democracy. So it's unclear that she's going to really be able to pull away people who are thinking about supporting Trump now, but she gives a permission structure to some people who may stay home or are just not interested in voting for Trump to vote for Harris.
Yeah, the big question again. And in places, and I think we're going to see, our Jake Tapper reported yesterday that she and some of the other Republican women who were kind of swept up in all this, Cassidy Hutchinson, Alyssa Farrett-Griffin, and others are going to go to the collar counties of Pennsylvania, right? Bucks County, Chester County area to try to find those very voters, the kind of Nikki Haley type voters, especially women who need the permission structure that you are talking about. Let's talk for a second, though. One of the things that, of course, we saw happen this week was the release of Jack Smith's new major 156-page filing about January 6th, right? In some places it was cast as an October surprise. But I will say the sources that I have talked to really question whether it's going to matter in the election. Stephen Collinson, who sort of writes these big picture pieces for us here at CNN, he wrote this: new focus on Trump's refusal to accept the result of the last election and the January 6th attack on the Capitol might seem like a political disaster for the ex-president, but it's a mark of Trump's success in rewriting history that this is not necessarily an election-defining issue. How do you look at this?
I think that that's right on the mark. You know, the issues we know that people care about are more these pocketbook issues, you know, the economy, jobs, interest rates, as well as things like immigration, and that January 6th isn't factoring into the calculus as much. This year was supposed to be the year that Trump was spending all year in court dealing with, you know, his various and myriad legal troubles. Really, he would just spend a couple weeks in May. That was a long time ago now, and sort of Trump's legal problems and you know, both whether it be, you know, classified documents or his role in January 6th are not top of mind for people, and it's not what polls show people are making decisions on.